Hi everybody, it's July.
And we've got a big box.
We've got lots of big boxes. So we are going to be unboxing our Truly XO fabric line today. And we're going to talk about events for that and Lighthouse Inn and answer all kinds of questions.
No
today.
shortage of things. So
We have tons and tons to talk about. So let us know if you're here. And looks like we're just getting some people showing up. So we'll wait a couple seconds. Before we get going, the progress we've seen on the Lighthouse Inn
it's beautiful.
So pretty.
And I think it's hard to explain how exciting it is for us as well.
Yeah.
Because we do a lot of work to do these designs, but we can't begin to imagine the hundreds and hundreds of possibilities.
Here. Donna's here.
Oh, hello, hello. So, you know, when you share your work on Facebook, it definitely energizes us. So please keep doing it.
Well, it energizes everybody else.
Yeah. It's not about us.
Yeah, I think the diversity of palettes is really fantastic to see also.
So I think we
should get going.
Get going with the big box.
Yes.
And I'm gonna pull in my chair.
We've got lots of boxes here, so we're gonna be.
It'll be a little awkward because this stuff is big.
Yeah, and so we originally thought we were gonna get this in May, and then it was clear that we weren't gonna get it in time for the Quiltalong. So the timing of it, that's why the timing of it is kind of weird.
And I'm going to start with saying this new Truly line will be up on our website later today. It's not there yet.
Yeah.
So you get to see this. We got the fabric, but we have to push a few more buttons to get it up on the website.
Yeah,
but it will all be available soon.
I guess before we open, I also just kind of want to just give a general overview about what the line's about. Mm-hmm. And, you know, in the Quiltalongs that we've been doing with you for the last year and a half, we've seen so many friendships develop and just the kind of camaraderie and of a group of friends really inspired this line. So a lot of our lines are what we call ensemble lines, which is that we don't want to have a focus fabric and then companion fabrics. We want to have a more flexible line, kind of like a group of friends that you have that are standbys, who are always up for a fun adventure.
Right. Or if you think of the Lighthouse Inn, those of you doing that Quiltalong, it's a group of individuals that come together to make
rather
the quilt.
than one person that everybody else surrounds. And so, but we also wanted to do this is unlike transparency, for example, which is that look a little bit more like basics. We wanted these to be multicolored prints. So we could show you how to mix your multicolored prints because a lot of you have told us you're looking for that.
Yeah, so this line works beautifully on its own, but the concept was that it also integrates into so many of your stashes.
So multicolored prints without one dominant print. Okay,
okay.
This
oh my gosh.
All right, so.
Big box.
So
where to begin? Go ahead.
Well, actually, you want to show the free to use quilt.
Actually, I have a print.
This is on the Benartech site. This is called Friendship Bracelet.
Keeping in the theme.
Yes, exactly.
This is actually a really fun, it's improvisation within structure. So it's a free pattern, again, on the Benartech site. We'll have more information about this in social media coming up. I mean, we literally just got all this going.
So, actually, can you hold it up again? The pattern. So this is an improvisational quilt, and you can see each of these strips is pieced into that band.
And that background fabric, you'll see in a moment whenever we find it, it's a simple tone on tone that makes for a great background.
So we don't usually stock the
2.5 inch strips.
2.5 inch strips, but because this quilt lends itself, oh my God, it's going to take me a half an hour to get these.
Well,
We
while you
did
do that, I'll work on this one.
Okay, we did decide to stock these. Oh my gosh, it's so tight.
Would you like scissors?
Yeah.
Are they somewhere in front of you there?
Oh my gosh. Hold on.
Benatex does a great job packing things.
Yeah. Oh, I think I got it. I think I got it. Can you get that one?
No.
Oh, all right. Yeah, it's a little bit tougher than we thought. Okay, here we go. I got it. All right, so these are the 2.5-inch strip sets that you can use to make that free-to-use quilt. So you can see they're all, it's a variety of prints. None of them are dominant. They are organized in lights and darks, but when the packaging, they seem to have mixed them up. But this is the general layout, and
and here we
these
have
are
some
the fat quarter bundles.
fat quarter bundles. Oops, upside down.
And then we'll get to the
And
actual prints.
As we open these boxes, we'll see
can
what's
see.
in them, but we'll have a chance to show you a bolt of every one of these.
And they're generally
So-
kind of small and medium scale prints. They're printed on poplin, so
Nice weight.
yes, it's a really nice weight, and
Nice
I think
quality.
you'll like this these prints.
And there are 18 prints in this line, plus what we're about to show you,
Yes.
something we haven't done before. There are 2 additional prints. Oh my gosh, this stuff is heavy.
Okay, this is a
Okay.
first for us. We're super excited about it. Oh my
Oh my, can you
so
lift?
big.
Oh,
We
Here,
have
can you hold that? I'm gonna pull the plastic
108 yardage. Oh,
108-inch
for
wide.
backings.
So
This is
this,
such a versatile
oh my gosh,
print.
this is heavy.
I love this
Look,
dark
look how
blue.
thick this bolt is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think this is 108 inches wide, and oh my gosh, there are 19 yards of it on this bolt.
Yeah.
So this is a really versatile kind of midnight blue with a black overprint.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
And that
put
would
this
actually
behind me.
be great for, what we did with the 108s, we've never done 108s before, is we tried to do something that would work with a variety that's not,
Not just with this line.
yeah,
but
not just with this line, but would work with other things as
Okay,
well.
this is a tune.
Can you push
Oh
this
my
over
gosh.
there?
Here, you get that. Let's shut
All
that.
right. So this is a gray on, pale gray on white. Super subtle. Here we go. I just want to get it out of the plastic so you can see it, because it's such a pretty print. Okay.
So lovely.
So you can see that print. Super versatile.
So when you need a light backing, one of the things, the print is really subtle and it lends itself to, basically it's a disappearing act. It's a
Yes.
little bit of visual interest without being dominant.
But this could also be used if you were doing a queen or a king and you wanted to use this for sashing. That would also
Oh my
be
gosh.
super helpful.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this and I'll lift that next box up for you.
Oh,
You got it?
I was just gonna open it over here and pack it.
Oh, okay. So Weeks to the side has a stack of boxes with individual bolts, and we have
Okay.
18
Oh, this is one
different.
of my favorites.
Oh, okay.
So this is the garden
I'm gonna take the
Print.
plastic off as we
Okay.
go because
the garden print.
This-
I
yes,
love this one.
if we look up close, that has so much color in it, but it works well from a distance. It works well up close. Beautiful. Boy, they printed that nicely.
Okay, and then here's the purple. I think this is grape, I want to say.
Okay, so same garden print in the grape colorway. And as you can see, it's not, obviously it kind of has a purple dominance, but there's a lot of other color. There's that aqua, the blue, the
Yeah.
green. Oh, I
And here's
love
the
this.
bluebell. Yeah, this is so pretty.
Okay. So in that friendship bracelet quilt, I'll hold this up again. Just a moment. Those vertical elements are 2.5-inch cut strips of these different fabrics. So from a distance, they may read, they read as a block of color. Up close, you're gonna have lovely, lovely detail. Okay,
And
now
bring the others over.
I'm going to start stacking behind us.
All right, this is the candlelight print. And where's the color right? Twilight.
Oh.
So you can show that to them.
All right, Candlelight in Twilight. Just a moment.
Each of the prints is in 3 colorways. Oh, I love that. Yeah, such a fun print.
So look how many different colors are in that. It has obviously that kind of deep navy background, but there are blues and purples and greens.
And this is the pesto.
Oh, the pesto.
Right.
Okay. That is very pesto. All right, let's...
And this is the wine.
Okay, there we go. Again, lots of color and detail. And they really nailed the printing on this now.
Oh. Okay. And then this is the wine.
The wine. All right.
Yeah.
So as you can see, these are like, it's a little unusual to have multicolored fabrics that are so small scale as these. There are a real variety of scales within this line.
But you'll be able to cut them. It's such a, it's so many nice scales.
Yeah.
Do you want to pile those up behind you?
Okay.
So we can get in the others. We have a lot more to go.
12 more.
This is the charms. Oh, I love this one. Can you show?
So as Weeks mentioned earlier, this line has kind of medium darks and light mediums. These are some of the lighter ones. These are the Charms prints. And there are 3 colorways of this.
And let's see. Oh, you want to go with that one?
Okay.
It's already open.
Oh, it's already open. Let's see. And this, there we go. Oh, look at that color.
Yeah.
Forget. Oh, okay, then you have one more. You ready?
Okay.
And the 3rd colorway of the charm print, and again, these will all be on our website later today. They're not there yet.
Ooh, oh, look at this one. It's so pretty.
Okay.
The printing is
You're going
really
faster than I
lovely.
think.
This is the vines print.
All right, this is going to be a wall of fabric behind us.
Yes, we have to make sure it doesn't fall on us. I really was excited about this print. All of these are hand-drawn, original prints drawn by us. And what we were looking for with this one is something that had a laciness, but that looked modern. And, so when you said they're printed on poplin, how does that compare to the previous line? So the poplin is what the superior solids, that's the base goods. So they are compared, it will ravel less than transparency did. That was one of our goals. They are,
just beautiful
so they're the
quality.
exact same weight as the solids, but just a slightly different weave than the transparency.
It's a really nice quality. So once again, you can see the level of detail that they were able to keep those thin stems intact. And are there other?
Yeah, and the printing, I mean, part of the goal with this is just to make sure that you could get the detail of the printing because they're smaller in scale and the lines are delicate. Especially, can you hold that up again? You can see how delicate those lines are. Yes, so, yes, and we're glad to have less raveling too. The transparency was printed on the same grade goods that every other, it's like 80% of the, quilting fabrics are in the industry, but we wanted even less than that. Less raveling than that. So the poplin ravels less for sure.
So this has just such a nice, deep, dark, rich red behind it.
Yeah. It looks a little dark on the screen, but it's really kind of a deep.
It's a cranberry.
Yeah, dark cranberry.
Yeah, in general, when you're looking at these on a device, these backgrounds may go almost black, but they're all colored. This is a forest green background. And I'm going to hold these 3 up together so you can see how much color you can get in these 3 prints. Yeah. And I'm not going to stack any higher behind me. I'm afraid that'll fall.
Oh, there's right back behind you. Go right there.
Yep. There we go.
But the goal is that when you see the whole line, you'll see how nicely it pairs together. Actually, you can see that there's good contrast. So even though they're all multicolored, you'll still have lots of, can you grab that? Lots of contrast.
Oh, and this is the diamonds,
Yes.
in the rose colorway. Oh, and again, this is one that also really looks different on screen.
It looks a lot pinker on screen. It looks more gray on, or gray on screen, but it's more pink in person. And
Very gentle in person.
This is the Clementine.
Clementine colorway of the diamond print.
Yeah. And then
Yeah, the shift on screen is always, as you all know, a surprise.
Although you can see it a little bit more when you see it in the stack. You can see the pink, and this is the colorway. There you go.
So this is our sky version.
So then
Thank you, Kay. Glad you like these.
So then if you need sashing or binding options and you wanted something that's a little bit more monochromatic, this is what is called narrow goods, so the 108 wide goods. This is the regular standard.
So this is
the deep inky blue.
with a slightly lighter blue. So this is kind of the inverse of the other, which was a dark print on a dark background. This is a lighter on a dark background. Very versatile. And this is used in the friendship bracelet quilt. It's what's used for that horizontal band.
And this is a slightly darker version. This is, again, the narrow goods, the 42-inch. It's a white background with a gray, slightly darker gray print than the wide goods. So perfect for sashing, binding, that kind of thing. And then there's one more. We wanted kind of a sort of khaki-ish, oatmeal-ish.
And this we use for the background, fabric.
So this is a real kind of toast color on cream.
There we go.
So then let's go back. We can show them.
Is there something in that other box, or is that just? No, I think this is it.
I think that's it.
4, 6, 8, 10, 12,
Yeah,
14,
that's everything.
16. That's everything.
That's
Yep.
everything.
That's all 18.
So when you look, can you go back to the pre-cuts? So when you can see that there's a lot of variety within the line that allows you to incorporate your own fabrics. So one of the things that we wanted to do with this line was to show you how this line could be kind of a starter palette that you could use to include fabrics from your stash. Because one of the things that we find as quilters that's frustrating is that you see certain lines and they are so bold and so unique, or the colors are saturated in a way that make it difficult to add other fabrics into it. And
so this definitely plays well with others.
Yeah, so the idea was that we wanted to have a line that you could use as a core palette to start with, but then add your own fabrics and your own stash along with it. So because it's not tiny in scale and it's not huge in scale,
it's versatile.
And they're multicolored. We think it'll be really versatile for you if you are a scrappy print plaid
and
person.
we'll be talking a lot more about this as the line comes out, and right.
But the one thing that we do want to tell you is that we're going to be doing we'll have more details to come, but on August 17th, we will be doing a one-day Quiltalong. It's not going to be a mystery Quiltalong. It's going to be kind of like, for those of you who participated in the the
Friends All
International Quilting Day, the Friends All Around Quiltalong. It'll be that sort of format. However, it will be a paid event for a whopping $15.
And the idea is we want to use this as an opportunity to help you understand mixing and matching with a focus on our Truly fabrics. You can use any fabrics you want. Our Truly fabrics will make the ideal starter set for this, but you can also work from your stash.
So there's a question about will Friendship Bracelet be a kit? Yep. And yes, it will be a kit. Yes.
So probably 2 weeks. As soon as we can get it done.
You know what? You can, because you could just buy yardage and the strip beads.
Right? I have it all worked out.
Yeah.
We'll share those details on our socials.
But the idea of the Quiltalong is that we're going to, what we've done with color in Transparency, Secret Agent, and Lighthouse Inn, and Summer Camp, we're going to do that with prints. Have that sort of showing you how to edit on the August 17th.
So that August 17th format will start in the morning with a pre-recorded demonstration, explanations, kind of like a mini palette building class.
For prints,
specifically.
Actually, prints, yarn dyes, batiks, like anything that's not a solid, basically.
And the quilt could be made from solids, but the focus of this, the kind of educational focus, is on mixing prints.
Okay. And will it be recorded so we can pay and watch at a different time? Yes.
Yes. So the idea will be the morning will have a 2-hour pre-recorded, or no, we'll have
2 hours. Not 2 hours.
Well, there will be a 1-part pre-recorded lesson as such, and then later in the day, a couple hours later, we'll have a live session where we can kind of share, discuss, answer questions.
Yeah.
And if you're not available that day, this will all be recorded, so you'll have access to that. And one of the things that we've found people have really appreciated are these exhibitions where they get to share. And
but you haven't showed them the quilt yet.
No, we'll get there.
Okay, yeah.
So we will have a virtual exhibition for this Quiltalong, especially because it's a way for people to see the beauty of mixing, since each one of you has a unique stash.
And I kind of wish I think in retrospect, I wish we had done a virtual exhibition for the Friends All Around, but it was just, we were dealing with
time,
it was just a little too challenging. So, but the name of the quilt that we'll be making for this workshop is called Hive, like beehive.
And it will be a napping size, although it's based on a simple block unit, so it's very extendable. You'll be able to make it larger or smaller if you wish. We'll have a couple of variations with layouts, but we thought we'd show you one digital illustration of this. So if you look at this,
there are no Y seams. I'll just tell you that right now.
Believe it or not, there are no templates.
Yeah.
All this will be explained. It's actually pretty straightforward. Yeah. And this illustration shows it made entirely with the Truly line, but we will be mixing it with our stash. But the Truly line, we mentioned, has darker prints and lighter prints. And by separating them out on this interconnected web of hexagons using the lights, you get some really interesting different levels of design, different layers.
Well, and we designed the line to be able to have lights and darks. For those of you who've done our transparency, have used our transparency line and done Secret Agent or are doing Lighthouse Inn, you'll see that although a lot of quilts really focus on light, medium, and dark, the subtlety between light and medium or medium and dark is where we find kind of it's kind of an elegant.
There's a sophistication because it's not so in your
knocked you over the
face.
head. Yeah. And so we designed these prints specifically to have that just delicate difference, but it's clear enough that you can see in this line, you really want those pieces to be visible, the light pieces on top of the dark. But it's scrappy in a very modern way.
Yeah, if I go way up close, I hope this is staying in focus, you can begin to see that there's a scrappiness. And I actually think, for me, when you have scrappiness mixed with prints with so much variety, there's kind of an affinity to a lot of traditional quilts. Even though this is very modern, you get that comfortable feeling, to me, when you have so many prints together.
Mary Beth wants to know the dimension of the napping size.
I believe, of course, I believe it's about 53 by 79. And as I said, if you look up close, it's based on a unit of a single triangle. So let me point to like this cranberry triangle there.
With like a T.
There's one unit. And we'll explain how that works so simply with no templates. But you can make as many or as few as you wish to vary the size.
As a baby quilt size or
it'd be a great baby quilt.
But I think the reason that we're going to try to do more one-day things occasionally, especially with lines, is we've found that, especially with prints, that a lot of people can see a line, and you might love a particular line, but you still want to use your stash, and you want to figure out how you can use the stash with the line. And some lines don't allow you to do that as much. Yeah,
some are really kind of bullies, and they exclude anything. And this actually welcomes other fabrics.
I wouldn't say they're bullies.
Sometimes some are.
Well, I think it's more a matter of we've heard you loud and clear that you don't want to have a quilt that looks like everybody else's. So I think what's nice about this line, and what's nice about this pattern in particular, as well as Friendship Bracelet, is if you want to make it bigger. For example, you wanted to turn this into a twin size quilt, and you bought the kit. You could buy some extra yardage, and then you could include some of your prints in there that have a similar feel.
Plus, no two will be alike on this, simply because the structure is pretty cool. You do a strip set of lights with a middle band, and then you slice it improvisationally and splice in all of these pieces. So every row, the units will be staggered,
and
much like beads on a bracelet. Yeah. You can have as many or as few. So it makes for a very simple pattern, and I think it's fun. If you're not used to the improvisations within structure, it'll take a little getting used to, but you'll make your first row maybe a little nervous, and then you'll get in the swing of it, and you'll just make a whole bunch of them, and then you can kind of figure out where they go relative to each other and spin them around. It's fun.
You do not need any, Mary Beth's saying, do you need any special triangle ruler?
Nope.
No, you don't.
That's with the Hive quilt, we really worked on a design that requires no special tools and no templates.
Although if you have our trimming ruler.
Our trimming ruler would be
great.
That would be great. You don't need it, but
it's because like, it has that triangular line.
Yeah, but also just there's a bunch of trimming of the little pieces, and it's just easy to move around.
That would be the easiest. But as long as you've got some kind of ruler that has a
120.
Yeah, 120 line on
60, it. Or most mats have it. So we'll explain that again with the Quiltalong. It'll be part of the workshop. But if you have a quilting mat and pretty much any decent quilting ruler, that's all you'll need.
We try to make it, we try not to require you to buy a ton of rulers and stuff, because we, I think that there's something to be said for having a few small rulers that are extremely versatile.
And also, people don't necessarily have the room or the budget to buy other things.
I'm not fabric money.
It's fabric money. It's kind of like whether I'm in the kitchen or in the studio, I'm not a huge fan of one-use tools. I like things that are versatile. And also part of the way we design these quiltalongs is that you learn how to create things with tools you have. It's never about the tools. Sometimes there are tools that simplify things, but it's never about the tools.
But I think we're going to be able to show you in the Hive Quiltalong how to, there are so many ways that you can have variations of this layout, or that you can, we'll show you in the video how you can incorporate fabrics from your stash and how to edit them. The editing of mixing prints, yarn dyes, batiks, whatever you want, what are the kind of general tips?
What works, what doesn't, and why. It's always that why. So it's not just about here's the palette we're using, but how do you make your palette based on your stash?
And so you will be able to, if you have traditional fabrics, for example, Civil War reproduction fabrics, or batiks will work, or yarn dyes will work, plaids, stripes, all kinds of things will work. And so, we're taking an approach that isn't about, you've got to have $400 in order to make this quilt.
No.
We're trying, and you have to have a special thread and, everything. We're trying to make things affordable and that use your stash, but also have our fabrics that can maybe be a guide for a direction.
I think that's a great word. We were very intentional as we designed this line to help to make a line that would help guide you.
Right.
That
it's like a starter set that you can add to. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we're really excited. We're going to be getting this up on the website later today,
and then, fingers crossed.
And then we're going to get through the Lighthouse Inn, which is still, as you can imagine, is still a tremendous amount of work. So all of the details for the Hive Quiltalong will be available after July 12th, which was when the final reveal for the...
So this is a little unusual. We often don't talk about things if they're not already on our website, but it's the 1st, and there's so much happening between the 1st of July
and the 1st of August. It was just that it came in the middle, the line arrived in the middle of the Quiltalong. So we didn't want to, like in an ideal world, we'd wait until September, for example, to start this. But then we felt like, we don't want to wait until September. So we'll do the Quiltalong, and then people can work at their own pace.
And clearly you're all here, so you follow us, and you'll be in the know. And we'll also send out a newsletter with some of this information.
Yeah, but so it'll be $15, a whopping $15 for the one-day Quiltalong.
Which includes that class component.
Exactly. And we will have all of that, all of the Hive Quiltalong details after we get through July 12th for the Lighthouse Mystery Quilt.
So speaking of the Lighthouse,
yes,
those of you involved in that, I said at the beginning of the this live stream that we're loving the posts that you put up.
So fantastic.
The color work, your imaginations. Also, it's very rewarding when people share their enthusiasm of seeing it come together and the surprise that happens. That's so rewarding because that's one of the big intentions. It's really different designing a mystery quilt and a regular pattern, because with a regular pattern, you want it to be a nice process, but it really is mostly about that finished quilt, and the Quiltalong has to be about the entire experience.
But you know what we're really having a fun time seeing is people laying out their they're blocks, and they're just playing around with them, and we're like, oh, that's an interesting. We hadn't thought about that one, you know.
Yeah.
But nobody has laid out the quilt.
And we don't want people trying to do spoilers.
No, please don't.
Please don't.
Yes.
But you all will be revealed.
But I heard there's somebody who was saying like, oh, don't show me. I'm behind. Don't spoil it for me. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there thinking like, what they're posting is not the layout. So don't worry
maybe
about
parts of it. But there's always a little more complexity, and So
don't worry about it. You will all be surprised. So let's review that the reveal is July 12th, and you'll be able to then share all of your progress for that last assignment. You'll be able to share that within the Modern Quilt Studio Patterns and Fabrics group, but we'll be sharing everything on July 12th. A quick reminder, because I've already gotten a couple of emails about it. If you have already purchased the Lighthouse Inn or any of our Quiltalongs, and you've printed out the instructions as we've asked you to, you have the link, and that's all you need. You have the URL to get to HQ or the front desk or whatever it is. And you don't need any link. You don't need your original link. So we don't resend links for that reason. As long as you've downloaded it once, you're set. And if your iPad has crashed or whatever, just look on your phone at the email you got, or
that's what I always say.
In theory, and just type that URL in, and you're all set.
Oh,
the videos. You want to talk about the videos?
So with we're doing so much. Oh, okay, go ahead.
So we've been getting lots of questions about how people are on vacation and how long will the videos be available, and at least until the end of the year.
Yeah, people keep starting Quiltalongs from a year ago, so we're just. So far, our intention was always for things to be up for a year, maybe longer.
Yeah.
But they're up.
And they will stay up.
And then as we look a little further into August, people will be finishing their Lighthouse Inn quilts. And what is the date? On August 9th, we'll begin accepting submissions for the virtual exhibition of the Lighthouse Inn.
But there are lots of you who are just finishing your summer camp quilts or your secret agent quilts. Be sure to go to the website, and you can find the Quiltalong on our website. You'll be able to see links to the Quiltalong, and it shows you how to submit to the virtual exhibition, because we're still adding
probably all
the time. So
every couple weeks we update the virtual exhibitions from the previous Quiltalongs, and there are a lot.
Yes.
I mean, of beautiful, beautiful quilts.
Right, and there are, for Lighthouse Inn, there's over 900 participants at this point. I haven't looked recently, but last time I looked, it was over 900. So we should have a lot of beautiful quilts to be able to show you. And that virtual exhibition will open on August 16th, the day before the Hive.
We have a full calendar.
We're so busy. I know. So
and there's more, but we can't tell you yet.
Yeah, we can't tell you yet. So what questions do you have for us? Do you have questions about Truly or the Lighthouse Inn or Hive, or what can we help you with today? Anybody have questions? We've just kind of thrown a ton at you.
I know. It's been like the big brain dump for us. It's a lot to keep in our heads, and
Yeah. So let's see. I don't know whether we're delayed or nobody has questions. People always have some questions. So does anybody have questions, or are we gonna check out early? I'm not seeing any.
Okay.
Let's see.
Well, I think you'll have more questions as we provide more information. Oh.
Is the wide back fabric the same poplin? Yes.
It is. Yeah. And as you saw, it's still on the bolt. We haven't used it yet,
so,
but it feels great. And honestly, it'll be really nice.
Well, we actually did use it because we had some, we were all stunned. Yeah. We did use, we haven't used the wide back yet, but we've used the yardage.
Oh, we've used the
we
yardage.
Started making friendship bracelet, and
we haven't finished this yet, but we soon.
Yeah, we're
a couple weeks
about
it should be
halfway
done. And I think, I know the other thing I wanted to mention. I think a lot of you saw that since we had the last Quilts First, we made a jewel box quilt from our transparency line and posted that. That's a slide on our homepage of modernquiltstudio.com. There are kits available of that, and it is luminous. We were trying to count how many different jewel box quilts.
I think three or four.
More.
Oh well, okay.
We made a limited edition series of them years ago for the American Folk Art Museum.
Right.
We've done 5-foot huge versions of them as commissions for a couple public commissions, and we've done. I mean, it was on the cover of one of our books when it was translated into German.
Oh right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a quilt that's had a lot of life.
Okay, so Donna says she has no bandwidth. Oh. She's so overwhelmed. Yeah, I think, you can understand, like, imagine what's going on in our heads trying to keep all of this straight.
And I see Susan's question, if my shirt fabric is available. No, don't cut it up. I like this shirt.
No, she was wondering when you made
I know.
it. Yeah.
No, it's just a shirt. I like the fabric.
Yeah, and Barb says she's glad that we have good quality wide backs. Yeah, we've got a couple in the design production process as well. Benartex is starting to sell more of the wide backs, so we were.
It's always an issue of we don't want to release new product till we're really happy with the quality and have a good appropriate design, and that's where we are now.
So if we have trouble aligning both the thin strip and the square seam, which is more important? The thin strip.
On the Lighthouse Inn. Yeah, what I would say is it depends. I would look at what has the most contrast.
Yeah.
If you step back a few feet, which one looks more correct when it's aligned? If the small strips are close in color and you don't notice a lack of alignment, then go for the others. It will.
Whichever's going to show the most.
Align the one that shows the most. That's it.
So, I think you all are overwhelmed and we're overwhelmed as well. But, it's the, we kind of wanted to get this, Truly and the Hive Quiltalong, everything. We wanted to get that on your books, and your calendars, because some people do travel, and, we're on August 1st. We thought that wouldn't be enough time for you. Yeah. So we wanted to make sure that you...
It's July 1st.
I know. We wanted to make sure you had the time to, and to know that it's coming, because usually as soon as we finish one Quiltalong, then, people are asking, when's the next one? And so...
And as far out as we work, it's still... there's surprises for us too. So,
but this will be so much faster because it's just one unit.
There are a lot of them.
Yeah.
But it's those of you doing the Lighthouse Inn, you have to think all the time.
Actually,
about
there's two of them.
Oh, right. There are two units. I'm sorry. Yeah, two. But they're based on the same triangle.
Right.
So the Lighthouse Inn takes a lot of headspace because of orientations and mirror images.
And the cutting.
And so this will be a little break from that.
Yeah. So for those of you who are thinking about doing Hive, at least know that that's coming. And I think you'll have a really good time with that. And I would hope too that for those of you who are working on Lighthouse Inn, that you will be inspired to get over any anxiety by seeing the beautiful, beautiful blocks that are people are posting in the Facebook group. They're really fantastic.
So I think we've got our work cut out.
Hold on, let me just make sure. How would having truly have changed the Lighthouse Inn? To be honest, it was an entirely different Quiltalong. We had planned an entirely different theme, an entirely different quilt. It was just,
when we expected Truly to come in earlier.
Well, we designed it a year ago for it to be available on May 1st. And when it was clear that for production reasons, that wasn't going to happen,
when we pivoted to the Lighthouse Inn, it wasn't a matter of just saying, oh, let's use solids instead of the Truly line. It was reimagined from scratch. It's a completely different quilt, completely different structure.
It was a totally different theme. It was...
So it was a lot of work, but we don't...
Talk about not having the bandwidth. When we found out that line was not going to be available,
we did
it was kind of what we spent a year just planning this whole thing, but it happens,
it just happens. But we still knew that we wanted to talk about the mixing prints, and thought, if we aren't doing it during the summer Quiltalong, we're going to do this Hive Quiltalong and have it be a shorter but kind of a succinct version of some of that thinking. And
because of there were production and shipping and everything issues, we weren't sure when we were going to get it, and we didn't want to announce something and then have you not be able to get fabrics, or to wait until July because it was looking like it, might be the end of July before we had the fabrics. We just didn't know. And we didn't want to keep you hanging. Mm-hmm. So we just at the last minute designed Lighthouse Inn, just at the last minute.
And I do see Kay's question about asking if there are any hints on the Damien and Daphne fringe version, because it's hard getting square and line points that meet. That one unit, that fringe unit, has the most number of points to match of any of the units. What we did is, if you looked at the staff meeting for week 5, we showed pinning 1/4 of an inch from the cut edge. We started by pinning towards the center, the points that were matching closest to the center of the block, anchor those, and then we worked our way out, because you can have a little stretch, a little give. And now that you know that those blocks get trimmed down, if you have to take the cut edges and kind of have one go a little higher or a little lower to make the points match, that's okay, because you're going to cut things down into a perfect square afterwards. So I would start at any of the points that meet in the middle. Use a little leeway if you need it, and that's my tip.
But in general, I would say, because you're going to be matching a lot of points with Lighthouse Inn, I think the overarching approach that you should be thinking about is what are the things that need to be lined up most accurately, and focus on them. And I see, like, when we would do in-person things, people would just start pinning at one end. You always want to pin the things that matter the most, and pin them where it matters the most, which is that 1/4 inch line from the raw edge. So, if there's a strip that has to align with another strip, pin that first. If there's a corner that has to align first, pin that corner first.
Right.
You're always looking for, when I sew these 2 blocks together and open them back up, what is the, what's the pinch point there?
And I understand the challenge with a mystery quilt is you don't know what's coming next, but don't get too anxious over this.
Yeah.
We've set it up for you to be successful. Aim to match those, and we realize when you have those 1/2 inch finished strips, there's not as much wiggle room.
Yep.
And therefore, everything's a bit of a learning experience. If something's a little off this time, next time you might get closer. Don't worry too much. Just aim for it to look good.
Yeah. And, you know, the other thing, too, is that depending on how you quilt it, you know, when it's a 1/16 of an inch or even an 1/8 of an inch, sometimes that just, you don't even see it once it's quilted and you get the texture.
Another reason I love using cotton batting, which has a nice crinkle, because you lose, it just softens everything.
Well, as we say, it'll come out in the wash.
It'll come out in the wash, yeah. We don't sweat it too much.
Yeah, so usually, you know, and remember that most of the time you're not going to be looking at, you know, you're going to be looking at the whole quilt. You're not just going to be looking.
Yeah,
right
don't worry. We're not going to have an exhibition of close-ups.
Details of your points that didn't match.
So.
All right. Well.
Seems like we've all got a lot to do.
Yes.
We're going to go sew. And it's hard. It's a beautiful day here in Chicago.
Get Truly up on the website.
We've got some work to do.
Okay. Oh, the problem is yeah. Oh,
seeing Kay's comment.
Yeah.
One of the challenges.
Yeah.
Okay, Nancy's. Yes. So if you make a mistake on one, you often have to redo 2 blocks.
Yeah.
Happened to me.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Monkeys fall out of trees.
Even
right?
monkeys fall out of trees.
Yeah. So
have a great month.
Yeah. Just take your time, one block at a time. Remember, the goal of this, you know, when people were asking, is this beginner friendly? Do you need to be an advanced person? What we said is following instructions is the most important part of it. But, you know, one tip that I would have is that you may be used to quiltalongs that are really all about production, sewing, and cutting, and it's like cut 230, you know,
half-square triangles.
Yeah, half-square triangles, and then sew 25 blocks that are identical, you know, and you're just doing production sewing, and you can be at a retreat or in a room with lots of other people talking, and you don't need to focus on it. This is not that kind of quiltalong, and the reason it's not that kind of quiltalong is that you know how to do that you don't really need us to tell you how to sew, you know, 87 9 patches. You know how to do that. And the goal with this quilt and then really pretty much all of our quiltalongs is to help you see a different way to make something. And that isn't usually, it's not usually going to be production sewing. Now, Hive is going to be production sewing for sure. Yeah, which is why it's a 1 day and not 6 weeks.
But it also, Hive, there's going to be the investment at the beginning in building the palette.
The palette.
And that's, you know, each quilt along is about something different.
Yeah.
And, I do have to say, Jan, I'm glad you appreciate all the math that goes into this, because I've mentioned this in previous quilt-alongs and previous videos, but we both work so much on this, and the math actually literally haunts me at times. And
it does.
I'm a lap swimmer, so I will be working on instructions in my head, because swimming is so mindless and utterly boring. But I'm just, you know, swimming back and forth and rotating things and looking at quarter inches in my head. And I usually come back from the pool and go right to the computer because I've figured something out.
Or last night, I got in bed last night at like 10:30 and he was working on the pattern.
But also, I have to say that sometimes, you know, you get in your own head so much, and I was absolutely stuck on something and pulled it out to discuss it with Weeks, and she's just like, well, change that. And she like solved everything in one offhand comment that I probably swam a mile trying to figure out. And so,
but you got a good workout.
I got a good workout.
But, you know, I think, I'm glad, Kay, that this has been helpful and you're feeling calmer, because, again, you know, I think there's a couple of things that we've noticed that happen. And they're easy to fall into, which is that the speedies, as we call them, the people who sew very, very quickly and cut very, very quickly, you know, given the clues at noon, and by 3:30 they're done or something.
Right. Who are these people?
and then the oh, I'm so behind comments start coming, and then it's like a people get feeling like they're left behind or they have to hurry.
You're not.
And what we're trying to change the whole culture of quiltalongs and quilt in classes where people used to come to classes with their fabric already cut. And I thought, well, what's the point of me being here then? I mean, you know how to sew.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is have you enjoy the process, learn as you go, one block at a time, one technique at a time. And you'll notice often in the Facebook group, as soon as somebody says, I'm so behind, because it sets a panic out within the group, and other people think, oh, I'm so behind.
You're not.
Nobody's behind.
No.
Nobody's behind.
The only one who could ever be behind is us. Oh, she points at me first.
Yeah, we're behind.
Yeah, we're always behind.
Yeah.
But once we get it out there, there's no hurry.
Yeah, and there were people who had said, oh, could you make it 2 weeks between steps? And then we did that in, I think, New Day between the first and second. And people were antsy. Actually, I think we did that with summer camp as well.
Yeah.
And people were like, no, I'm ready to go. And so we thought...
It's a balancing act, trying to keep momentum without having it feel like pressure. So I think we've hit a good stride now.
But it is about, like Mary Beth says, she's, a novice and she's loving it. And she's taking her time and she's asking questions. And and that's why a beginner can totally do it if you really are good about instructions. Whereas there are people I know who've sewn for 50 years who don't sew a reliable 1/4 inch seam allowance, and they're going to have a harder time.
Yeah.
So, if you can get into the mindset of you've paid for this, you've invested in
Your
fabric
time.
and your time, like enjoy it. It's like it's a fun process, and you have the opportunity to learn things and to just work on your craftsmanship at each block, and to be focused on hurrying up and not being behind and all of that. I mean, snooze the group if you don't, and snooze our social media if you don't want to see the reveal. That's totally fine.
I also love the fact that people are constantly starting, because having the new versions of the older Quiltalong quilts pop up in the feed it's just really fun for me.
Yeah.
For everyone, I think.
So yes, the speedy folks aren't necessarily overachievers to me. They're just people who have more time.
Or they're excited.
Very fast. Yeah.
That's great.
But everybody's in it for something different, and I want you to see people's posts as motivating and inspiring, not as some kind of race, because you would be cheating yourself if you miss out on the fun that they had when getting there. So
but I think we'll leave you with this. There's lots to come with Truly. Thank you for sharing time with us again.
Yes.
We'll get this up later in the day on YouTube for those who couldn't watch on Facebook, and also because YouTube has slightly higher resolution. So
there's lots of fun and fabric and events and that kind of thing headed your way. And we will be adding it after we get through the Lighthouse Inn, but wanted to make sure you
one thing at a time, but
knew it was coming.
Save the date.
Yes.
So
thank you.
I'm going to stop us. No. Just because I was like, I want to go sew.
Okay. All right. Well, we will see you on August 1st at noon. Great. And we will look forward to sharing the reveal of the Lighthouse Inn on the 12th.
And then